Uncle Sam presents Funko Pop Friday.
Welcome to the road to Wrestlemania, road to Wrestlemania, Funko Friday, with Random Ninja, brought to you by UncleSamPrincess.com.
What up, Uncle Sam fam and Funko Pop fans? It's Friday. We're on the road to WrestleMania, so I'm still coming up with my WWE pops. And right now, I've got one that's probably one of the most famous voices in wrestling history. None other than Jerry the King Lawler in all his glory, with his crown, rocking his blue gear with the white tights. This is the early version of Jerry Lawler when he came to WWE, WWF at the time. Now, based on your age, it probably depends on how you actually know Lawler. Like most people my age, we recognize him as along with Jim Ross, the commentary team of the beloved Attitude Era, the late 90s, Monday Night Raw. You know, during the whole, some of the most famous stuff, Steve Austin, The Rock coming up, Vince McMahon versus Austin, DX, all that big stuff that people love to talk about. This was the guy giving us a voice. He's a pretty funny guy. He used to have a book of like 101 insults or something like that he kept at his desk, and he would always like to try to work them in. So some of the fun, he said he would say some funny stuff up there. Also, this guy is known to be a freaking womanizer too. So he loved the ladies. He never drank, he never smoked, he never did drugs, anything like that. He just liked the ladies, and that's it. I think he's been married enough times. I actually met one of his ex-wives one time. She was nice. That's neither here nor there. However, even if you only know Jerry Lawler, who's now all but retired, if you only know him from the Attitude Era, you should also know that he had a really great wrestling career before ever even coming to the WWE. He was in the territory days. The name King came because he was the king of Memphis. Like, he was the biggest draw in the Memphis territory. In fact, whenever WWE started taking over all the territories, he and some other promoters, they got together and basically a bunch of sinking ships, just all trying to get on one sinking ship. In fact, though, he was the AWA champion and had a match with Texas wrestling royalty, Kerry Von Erich, the late great Kerry Von Erich, who was the world-class champion at the time. World-class, of course, famously from out of Dallas, Texas, world-class championship wrestling. So they fused the belts with Jerry the King Lawler versus Kerry Von Erich. Now, you would think that Kerry Von Erich's gonna stomp Jerry Lawler, and he did. He gave him a beating, but it didn't go Kerry's way. It's got kind of a sketchy finish. You have to watch it. But Jerry Lawler ended up fusing the belts, and I guess he was the last person to ever hold the world-class title. If I'm wrong, somebody correct me. I don't know that I am. It's a really cool match to watch anyway, because, okay, this is kind of spoiler. As the story goes, Kerry Von Erich was under the influence during that match, unfortunately. And before the match, he had a razor blade hidden on him, because, spoiler alert, wrestlers back in the day would use razor blades and cut themselves, call it gigging, so they could bleed during the match. It's a pretty safe thing to do. It just looked really gory. Apparently, before the match, Kerry had his razor blade and accidentally sliced his bicep. This made blood just come pouring out. So they had to patch the bicep without you being able to tell it's patched. I guess they probably used super glue. I don't know. And Lawler has to attack his arm at the very beginning of the match so that it can be bleeding. Anyway, it's just a fun tidbit. If you watch that, that's actually what happened, that he was cut before the match on accident. Also, though, Jerry Lawler was pretty famous outside of wrestling, too, because back in the early 80s, a program he did with Andy Kaufman. Andy Kaufman was a huge star. He was on Taxi with Danny DeVito, just a big television star, and TV was a really big deal in the 80s. Back in the day, you watched what was on TV, and you probably only had 2 or 3 channels. They actually, on David Letterman, Jerry Lawler and Andy Kaufman were guests on there after they had a match where Jerry Lawler had pile drove Andy Kaufman and hurt his neck, because Andy Kaufman was going around wrestling women and stuff and kind of making a gag out of it all, and Jerry Lawler supposedly didn't like that, so he took it amongst himself to slap Andy Kaufman on live TV, which again, this is a big deal at the time. This was a really big deal. You know, like I said, everybody was watching, and they don't have a match, and it was later revealed, Jerry Lawler, that of course this was all a work, and Andy Kaufman was actually a really great guy, and him and Lawler had worked all this out, and it was all in the name of entertainment. But made a lot of news. I'll tell you who Jerry Lawler did not get along with, though, was Jim Carrey, who played Andy Kaufman in the movie Man on the Moon, because Jerry Lawler actually played himself on that, and he said Jim Carrey was completely completely insane on that movie. He said like he was doing like method acting, and he was just convinced that he was Andy Kaufman, and he kept messing with Jerry Lawler from Jim Carrey's perception of how Andy Kaufman was to Jerry Lawler, which was not actually how it was. It really, I think Jim Carrey almost caught a pile driver to himself. Anyway, that was a good thing to read in the book. And also Jerry Lawler, not that long ago, well, it was a few years back, he actually almost died on Monday Night Raw. He had a like legit, no story, like he had a heart attack on Monday Night Raw, and like doing commentary, suddenly he fell out of his chair, and they said the only reason he survived was because he was at Monday Night Raw and they had medics right there. They said like they had to call an ambulance or anything like that, he would not have made it, but he did make it. And I'm glad, because the guy's a legend. Jerry the King Lawler. When I say Jerry the King Lawler, what do you think? I know what most of you think of. Puppies. Yeah, right. Anyway, hit us up. Let me know if you were a fan of him in the day, or who you think the best commentator was. My all-time favorite commentating team was Jerry Lawler and Vince McMahon. Whatever. Argue with me if you want to. But y'all have a great day. Peace.
Uncle Sam presents Funko Pop Friday.
Welcome to the road to Wrestlemania. Road to Wrestlemania. Funko Friday with Random Ninja. Random Ninja. Brought to you by UncoSamPresents.com. Random Ninja.
Copyright 2025 Uncle Sam Presents. UNKAliSamPresents.com. Email us at UNKAliSamAtGmail.com. Spotify, YouTube, Rumble, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Email us if you wish to be a sponsor.
Brought to you by
Check out the rest of our videos at UncleSamPresents.com.
Random Ninja.